Okay, I think the Lions just made a massive pickup in finding a new defensive line coach. Now, remember, Todd Wash left us, and so we pick up John Scott Jr. And if you don't know anything about him, that's fine. Nobody does. But I started reading into him, kind of did some research on him. So let me give you the background on this guy and why I think this is just a great pickup for the Lions. And it really makes sense for me and why we did it and what we're going to do. So, he has a little bit of NFL history, but then the rest is college and just really worked himself up the ranks. Pretty cool story. And his last stint was with Penn State. So I'll get to that in just a second. So they don't know for sure that he's going to be defensive line coach, but that's all he's ever done. And we don't have a defensive line coach. So that's probably what he's going to be doing. So here's his background a little bit. He first started coaching football in '01 when he was a high school defensive line coach. Okay, so high school defensive line. Then he goes to Louisiana Lafayette, Norfolk State, Georgia Southern, so he's at these like smaller schools, Arkansas, South Carolina, and more, right? He's bouncing around, just grinding. Love it. Then he had a 2-year stint with the New York Jets under Todd Bowles in 15 and 16. He was a defensive quality control coach before getting promoted to assistant defensive line coach. So I don't know this for sure, but it's almost like the guy just keeps getting promoted, keep doing well. I doubt he's just taking lateral, right? I think he's moving up. He's moving up. The guy's just going boom, Todd Bowles. Then he's a defensive quality control next year, assistant defensive line coach. And then for the past 3 seasons, he is the defensive line coach for Penn State, also run game coordinator for the 2022 season. So, what I'm getting at with this, he's getting promoted. And then what I love that we're doing here is we're getting a guy from the college ranks. So you've got a younger guy. Now, this is a big deal because if you have been watching the videos or seen the news, we hired John Fox to be a consultant or quality control, whatever those guys are, for our defensive side of the ball. So you've got the veteran, you've got John Fox knows what he's doing. So it's not like we don't have veteran NFL experience. But what you have is a guy that's been coaching young guys for the past 3 seasons. And guess what? That's all we have is young guys on our defensive line. I mean, Charles Harris, I guess, is an older guy, but Aleem McNeil, young. Isaiah Buggs, still young, even though he's been in the league. He's only 24, 25. Aiden Hutchinson. And so you've got, James Houston, another young defensive lineman. We're going to then draft another defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman, no question, in the first round, second round, a premier defensive lineman. So out of your defensive linemen, 4 out of 6 are young, like basically out of college. So I think it's a great move to go a little bit younger now because we're young. I mean, we're so young. There's a stat that we don't have anybody over the age of 30. Soon to be, we won't have anybody over the age of 29 because a couple of those guys are going to get cut. Those like Nate Sutfeld and somebody else. Oh, Vitae is 29 as well. So we have a young roster, and it just totally makes sense. And then I looked at this earlier in another video. You look at some of the guys that we might get in free agency. Hargrave's older, but Payne's not that much. Is not that old. Tomlinson's not too old. So even the free agent guys are a little bit younger dudes. So I have no problem with us going kind of a little bit different route. Doesn't have as much NFL experience. I think you can spin it any way you want. Like, right, if you get a guy with it's he's got so much NFL experience, great. Oh, if he doesn't, oh, good, he's young, he's energetic. You can go any way you want with it, but I think it's good to mix it up. And I think the John Fox hiring, if you heard about that, John Fox has years and years and years of experience in the NFL, and he's gonna be on the defensive side of the ball. So you can then pick up this guy, and you have no problems with John Scott. It's John Scott Jr. Yeah, John Scott Jr. is going to be the replacement for Todd Wash. It's perfect. Like, let's go. And he does have some NFL experience. So it's not like he's just straight up high school to college to the NFL. He's been in the NFL a little bit, got his shot there, loved it, went to Penn State. Penn State had nothing but great things to say about him as he left and went out. So, yeah, I would like to thank John for everything he's contributed to our program over the past 3 years. John is a great coach and a great man. I'm grateful for his friendship and the impact that he had on our student athletes. This is a great opportunity for him in the NFL, and I wish him and his family nothing but the best. So, Pride of Detroit all over it. Thank you to Pride of Detroit for this article. it's a great move for the Lions. I mean, I think it's great, massive move for us to get him in and fill out our coaching staff. I think that's the biggest thing. Our coaching staff pretty much filled out now. We finalize it. Awesome. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this hire. And if you like a guy that's a little younger, a little less experience in the NFL ranks, but we'll be coaching younger guys anyway, let me know your thoughts, and we'll see you on the next one.